Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to do foundation, concealer, and my eyebrows. I'm going to mainly emphasize on concealer just because I have a lot of dark spots that I like to cover up, and I know a lot of ladies have the same issues. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Let's get started. So the first thing you want to do before you put any makeup on is moisturize your skin and also put a primer on. I use the Studio Moisture Fix by MAC. And then I use the Natural Radiance primer and I've just rubbed it all over my face. So what I typically do after that is I grab my Milk of Magnesia, the original scent, and I put a dime size on a towel and I kind of rub it all over my face. But I mainly focus on the center, like my T-zone, just because I tend to get really oily there. And I rub it around where my eyebrows, my eyelids are, because they get oily too. And I just want to rub it in and kind of pat it dry. While that's sitting on your face, you're going to let it dry. And then I start working on my eyebrows. I always comb them out and up first. And they look like this. Crazy, right? So as you can see, the Milk of Magnesia is drying on my face. It looks kind of gross, but it'll be covered up by foundation later. So what I do next is I grab my angle brush. And then I grab Dip Down. It's a gel fluid line from MAC. And I just lightly take a little bit on the angle brush. And I'll show you how much, it's just barely. And what you want to do is start at the bottom of your eyebrow and kind of outline where you want your eyebrow to go. This is the part that you want to be the darkest on your eyebrow, because you can see how much cleaner it looks already. I'm just going to go back through. Then I take my comb again, and what I'm going to do is brush it back. You can see how much cleaner that looks already. But I'm going to grab what I have left on the brush without getting more and just lining on the top part and tracing back down to the tail of my eyebrow. And then you want to lightly color it in. You don't want to get more product because it's going to make your eyebrows too dark. And then what I normally do is I take the angle of the brush and I kind of stamp it in front to make it more straight and sharp where I want my eyebrows to end. And then I lightly brush it back so it gets that gradient effect. And then you want to go in and brush it again because you can kind of see some holes already. And this is to blend it in more. So that's how it looks so far. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in and do the same thing with the other eyebrow. And for the most part they match, but I'm actually going to go in with concealer underneath and kind of clean that outline up a little bit. And that's with the Dip Down. And eyebrows are completely objective. It depends on what you want, the look you kind of want to go for, and also how thick you want them to look. I like mine a little bit thicker and long. So next for my eyebrows, I'm going to go in and use the Studio Finish Concealer in NC45. Looks like this. I just grab a small amount and put it on the back of my hand. And then with my clean angle brush, I go in and take a little bit. You can either do a lighter shade or a darker shade depending on your preference. I like to normally do a lighter shade, but today I'm going to just go in with my regular concealer so it's all one color. You want to go underneath where you first lined your eyebrows and just follow it through. This is the part that takes me the longest. And you see how I'm covering up my mess up from earlier? This just gives your eyebrow a really clean look. And you want to brush it down so it blends into where your lid is. We'll rub some of that off. And that's with just the bottom done. It's really clean looking. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the top. Starting at the front and going back. And you want to just blend it up and out. So you can see how much cleaner this eyebrow looks compared to this one. And that's what it looks like so far with just my eyebrows done. So the trick with eyebrows is they're actually not supposed to be exactly the same. They're supposed to be similar but not exactly the same because both sides of our faces are different. Like we'll always have one eye that's bigger, one eye that's maybe closer together than the other one. So this is just to balance out the face. So after my eyebrows are done, and as you can see the Milk of Magnesia is kind of just drying. It looks white but it's going to be covered up, I promise. So today I'm using the Matchmaster 7. I have a little sample cup just because I wanted to try it out and see how I like it. I actually really like it just because it's more of a matte finish than the Studio Fix. So you want to grab a stippling brush. It's just my favorite. You can use whatever foundation brush you want. But this is the 130 from MAC. It's a small stippling brush. It's very tiny and it has the white on top. So you want to grab a little bit. You can check it out. I barely grabbed any. What you want to do is go in and just start from the center of your face and work your way out. The reason why you want to start in the center is that's where you want the main focus of your face to be. If you start on the outside and work your way in, it's going to give you more of a mask look. It's going to be dark and then all of a sudden go in towards the center lighter. So I'm just going to blend that in. I go over my eyelids too, even when I wear eyeshadow. You just want to blend it in. Blend it in. You can see how much cleaner my face looks even with just this foundation. The trick with foundation is you need to find a color that matches your undertones. So I've worn other foundations, but my skin tends to be more of a golden than a red tone. So that's why I normally use NC from MAC. Personally, I think foundation is the most important part of all makeup because if you have really bad foundation, no one's really going to pay attention to the other parts of your face that are really well done. So I think it's worth the investment getting really good foundation that lasts a long time as opposed to cheap ones that you have to keep replacing. So foundation, you don't need a whole lot. So I mainly do more of a sheer coverage just because I don't like for my face to look really makeup-y. I like it looking more natural even though makeup isn't natural. I'm just going over where I want the dark spots to be covered. And blending it in. So this is with just the foundation. My skin looks a little bit cleaner, or more clean than it did before. And you can still see those dark spots. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with more of the NC 45 or 45 concealer and put a little bit more on my hand. I'm going to take the same stippling brush and I'm just going to lightly stipple it in there. And I'm doing concealer on top of my foundation. And you want to go in and kind of stipple it in all your dark spots. Stippling allows for the most coverage. Just want to keep blending, stippling it on there. So you can already see a big difference. I'm just going to grab a little bit more, stipple my brush, put some more on, stipple it on there. And I think this technique is great for even under the eyes, where most people tend to have dark spots. And I'm just going in, covering a little bit more. And personally, I just like to cover it just enough. I don't like it being super just makeup-y, cakey looking. So I just leave her where it's at and then I just go over it with a bunch of powder. And that's pretty much it. That's my eyebrow, concealer, foundation routine. Thanks for watching.